Okay. Hi guys, how's it going? Okay, if my voice seems a little shaky or sinusy in this video, it's because I've been detoxing. Yeah. I've been starting up again on my detox. And it can be kind of difficult when, you know, I'm working with clients and then like I'm detoxing at the same time, but I felt like I had to, you know. I felt like it was time to just clear out some of the congestion that had built up over the past few months. And yeah, and also like the change in seasons, it's always good to, you know, detox when the seasons change. So I kind of wanted to prepare my body for the colder weather, and you know, the fact that I might be eating warming foods like more often. So yeah. But today I wanted to talk about something that comes up like all the time. All the time. A lot of my clients, you know, like a lot of my clients are women, and so when they start to detox to heal their bodies of any, you know, chronic illnesses, it's usually chronic illnesses like fibromyalgia, lupus, Lyme's, arthritis, things of that nature, or things like viral loads or headaches, migraines, allergies, you know, a whole host of diseases. When they switch their diet to a raw diet, they find that they lose their period. They lose their period, or their period becomes super, super light, that they start to like get really worried, you know. I know there's a lot of videos out there on YouTube on this topic, and I somewhat agree with them. I'm kind of like half and half on what those videos have to say. So those videos pretty much say that you lose your period on a raw vegan detoxifying diet because in reality what a period is used for is it's used to cleanse the body of toxins. So people that have very heavy periods are people that have like a lot of toxicity in their bodies, especially in their female reproductive system. So, and those that have like lighter periods with less pain, it's because they're less toxic on the inside. So that's the explanation that people give, you know, raw foodists give usually, if their period disappears when changing to raw. So I am like halfway in agreement with that, but I wanted to touch up on another topic of why it is that women lose their periods on a raw diet. And, you know, I see a lot of eyes. I see a lot of irises because I use that as a tool to write the perfect healing protocol for people. Because, you know, it's not enough to just go on a raw diet oftentimes to heal really serious illnesses like autoimmune diseases. Those are really tricky to heal. Or sometimes like certain viruses are pretty tricky to heal. Or, you know, let's say if someone has like a very low thyroid, a lot of hormonal issues, things like that can be pretty tough to heal, especially if the person has been on a lot of medications over the years. So it's, you have like decades and decades of work that has to be, you know, reversed. Like a lot of congestion, a lot of acidosis, a lot of gland weaknesses that you have to address. And a raw diet on its own is not going to be powerful enough to completely heal those diseases. The raw diet is the most important thing, but you also have to address the weaknesses in your body because it's not strong enough. Food, like us as a generation, we've come so far in our gland weaknesses and our genetic weaknesses, you know, because you've gotten all the weak genes from your parents and their parents and their parents, and then, you know, the toxicity of the environment in the world today, vaccinations, chemicals in our foods, all that stuff adds up to creating a very weak generation. That's why we see a lot of children getting sick nowadays. Like there's children getting autoimmune disorders, there's children getting cancers. That's super common. So we have to address all these weaknesses. So when I look at a person's irises, and I see this all the time, like 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, teenagers, they have very, very degenerated pituitary glands. And so, like, oh, let me get an iris chart so you guys can see. So I have 2 iris charts. So I'm going to start off with this one right here. This is what I see when I look at your eyes. So if you look right here, the top of the iris focuses on the head area and the brain. So if you're someone, when you're looking at your eyes, you see a long black dark line going up, emanating from the middle of your eye and going up, straight up, that means that you have a pituitary gland weakness. And so that's what I see. It's really, really common, especially if people are showing like a lot of symptoms of gland weakness. So things like getting cold often, having cold hands and feet, irregular menses. Let me see what else is one. Depression, anxiety, that's super common with hormonal weaknesses. Even things like constipation can be caused by things like adrenal weakness. If the person's constantly tired, so chronic fatigue is associated with the glands. And how that all ties together with the pituitary gland is that the pituitary gland controls all the glands in your body. All of them. You know, the thyroid is controlled by the pituitary because of TSH that the pituitary produces. The ovaries are controlled by the pituitary gland because of the FSH that it produces. The parathyroid gland is controlled by the pituitary. That's super important because the parathyroid gland, it's responsible for calcium utilization. So if you're low in calcium, you have a parathyroid weakness. If you bruise easily, if you're depressed, if you have really bad teeth, like you get a lot of cavities, weak sensitive teeth, you have scoliosis, you have calcifications, all those things are controlled by the parathyroid gland. So if you add up all of the symptoms and you seem like someone that has a lot of gland weaknesses, when we look at all the symptoms of your body combined, then most likely, more often than not, you have the pituitary gland weakness, which is what controls all the glands. So yeah, I see this in the irises all the time, that big black line all the time in all my clients. And so that ties in with losing your period on a raw diet, because this is what happens when you go on raw diet. Your body shows its true state of health. You know, when you clear out all of the junk from your diet, when you're no longer eating things that are heavy in oil, heavy in salt, heavy in proteins, cooked foods, caffeine, you know, sweets, snack items, all those things are stimulants, and all those things, they kind of like create a false sense of energy in your body. So once you clear all that out and all you're eating is fruits and vegetables, guess what's gonna happen? All your glands are gonna take a rest back, like, That's why some people feel worse when they change to a raw diet. They'll say, oh wow, I'm so weak, I'm so fatigued. Or like a lot of things change in their bodies. They lose their period, you know, and then they start freaking out. It can be like a big cause of concern, you know, understandably. But that's just your body showing you the true state of its health. So women losing their periods, guess what weakness that points to? Points to a pituitary gland weakness. Sometimes it points to an ovarian weakness. So this is what we see when we look at the eyes. I would be able to tell you, okay, you have to work on your pituitary, because if you're not getting your period, you know, if you just lose it like that, that's a pituitary weakness. You know, that involves irregular menses. Some people actually go into a raw diet to fix that issue. I personally, like before I discovered a detox diet and I started detoxifying my body, I suffered from irregular menses all the time. Painful periods, heavy periods, all the time. I would actually get my period before my cycle. So like in the span of 1 month, I would get my period 3 times, you know? And it was really painful, and it was, you know, I pretty much always had to wear a pad, or I always had to be prepared because I didn't know when I would start bleeding. And it was so painful. Like I would get like hot flashes, I would get really painful periods. It was just a mess. And I would also get edema, like I would bloat up in that area. And like all these little signs, they point to specific places that you have to work on in the body. And like, it's so funny because doctors don't even know about this. You know, it's such a shame because people go to doctors expecting to hear, what is it that's causing my disease, doctor? What can I do to heal from it? And the doctor doesn't know. All the doctor knows is, okay, well, here's a prescription for steroids. Here's a prescription for like to take away your pain. That's it. Like, that's all they know. Here's an anti-inflammatory, you know? How does that solve the problem? That doesn't solve the problem. That just shoves the problem deeper into your cells and tissues. Just, yeah, that's all they say. Just keep on taking it and it'll go away. Of course it goes away because you're not addressing the problem. You're shoving the toxicity and the lymph system is being suppressed. So the problem looks like it's disappeared, but then what happens? Later on, in a few months or a few years, that all the acidosis trapped in those cells is a ticking time bomb. Then you get something worse. Then you get fibroids on your cysts. You get ovarian cancer. You get ulcers in your stomach. You know what I mean? That always happens. So there is no such thing as a cure when you're going the medical route. Not possible. Their understanding of the human body, their understanding of the correct diet for human beings just isn't there. They're just not taught that in medical school. You know, the pharmaceutical companies, they fund medical schools. They fund and have control and say of what doctors are taught in those classes. And what they're taught is, they're taught about pharmaceuticals. They're taught about what drugs to give to patients for these set of symptoms. That's all they're taught, okay? So as a detox specialist, I'm taught about the anatomy and physiology of the human body, about what symptoms correlate with what glands, what organs, what systems, you know? So if you're someone that's anxious and you have a hard time relaxing, that points to a nervous system issue, that points to an adrenal gland issue. Then what do we do with it? We respond with a certain diet, a detoxifying diet, depending on your constitution. If you have a strong constitution, if you have a weak constitution, we're either more aggressive with the diet or a little more lenient with the diet. And then we address those weaknesses with the herbal formulas. The herbs, they're the true medicines. They're the true medicines that clean out your body and rebuild everything that needs rebuilding. So that's how people find their cure, by working on their body, by empowering themselves with this knowledge. Or if they need help, you know, people like me, we're there to guide you. And then you heal your body. Then you find your happiness, your joy. Then you're able to be free of all the pain and all the issues, you know? That's how I found my remedy. That's how a lot of my friends found their remedy. That's how the people I work with find their remedy. So yeah, detoxifying diets, detoxification in general, iridology, all those things, that's what true health is about. And that's what our society is missing. So yeah, this is what I've dedicated my life to. That was a big long rant, huh? I'm kind of out of breath right now. Let me drink some apple juice. Apple juice. Oh. I get really passionate about this. So, yeah, it can seem like I'm rambling on and on and on, but it's just a lot of information. It's a lot to cover in one video, but I want you guys to know that if you lose your period on a raw vegan diet or even a vegan diet, don't worry, your period will come back. It's just a matter of time, you know? Same thing with hair loss. If someone switches their diet to raw or vegan and they start experiencing hair loss, it's just because the body is getting rid of that which is weak. You know, the hair that you built on a standard American diet full of meat or cheese or dairy or eggs or, you know, artificial ingredients, that hair is weak. It's not healthy. So before the body can give you healthy, strong hair built on a beautiful cleansing diet, it has to get rid of the weak parts of the body first. That in itself is a detox symptom. You know, that's another video altogether talking about detox symptoms, but the one that I wanted to focus on today was women and what symptoms they experience the most often when switching their diet, and to not worry about it. So you're on a raw diet right now, for example, and these things are happening to you, you're losing your menses, you're experiencing hair loss, things like that, you have to add in the herbs. You have to add in the herbs pronto. You have to even add glandulars possibly. It depends on what we see in your eyes. So if you see that you're someone that has, like, let's say, a lot of those lines coming out, like any area of darkness in your eye, whether you have a brown eye, so like let's say if you have a brown eye, right? And you see these black lines in certain areas or black dots, they're not supposed to be there. In a truly healthy body, the eye will be a consistent color. So if your eye is supposed to be brown, it's going to be brown all over. No blackness, no orange, no yellow, nothing like that, okay? Those are what the herbs take care of. And then you'll see it in the iris. The iris starts to change color the more you detoxify the body. Over the months, like, those black lines start to disappear. Any drug deposits like sulfur around the GI tract, around the middle of the pupil, it starts to disappear and clear out as your colon is cleansed. All that stuff goes away. For blue eyes, you'll also see black. You'll also see white. You might see yellow. You might see green. You'll see crazy things in the iris that's not supposed to be there. And like I said, the iris is mapped out for us. You see? All the areas of the body are covered in the iris. All of them. The lungs, the glands, the thyroid, the leg, the arm, the shoulder, the colon, the stomach wall, everything is there. And that's what I do. I read the irises. And then with the information that you give me, I write the perfect healing protocol that will get rid of any disease. Any disease. So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that was a good lengthy video. Yeah. I have to make more videos. So, yeah, I'm probably gonna turn this video off and start working on another video on another topic, okay? So, yeah, thank you for sticking around for this long if you have. If you are suffering from any illness, any disease, I don't care what it is, it can be labeled incurable by everyone. Not incurable, you can fix it. You can go to my website or you can send me a message and I'll point you in the right direction. Okay, guys. Take care. Love you. Bye.